Hey, let me check in with chapters 28 to 40. This is the final check-in of Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis, which, okay, I this is not an insult, but there's some really fucked up fucked up relationship stuff going on by the end of this novel. And I have to say that it somewhat reminded me of somewhat like Twilight, which is not where I was expecting things to go at the end here. Um, so, oh, fuck me, yeah. So they're on the run. They take off with the what is it, obelisk or whatever the hell the name of the other alien is, comes for them, and they kind of split off in the various directions. The humans end up with the genetic suitcase thing, um, and taking off with it. Um, it turns into a creature. It's a creature that apparently would be capable of breeding more similars and stuff like that. Basically their genetic future. Um, Obelisk catches up with them. EMPs, uh, Cora and and this creature get out of the vehicle, rush off. It gets evaporated. Basically, it gets turned to carbon and just crumbles, including a guy that she whacks on the head really hard, like breaking the coconut hard. So she's not quite sure if she killed him before he was then killed, or if he got killed. And we find out later he's gone. Um, they do they do get caught up with Ampersand, catches up with them, but Obelisk catches up with them. They have a debate over this. There's basically, okay, you get to I'm going to hold on to these people, and because they do manage. Actually, what they do is they manage to stash the genetic, this creature. Um, she goes to Ampersand, but then Ampersand is also, Obelisk shows up, and they go to them and the Freeman are all made, and it's like, okay, well, you need to basically cough up the thing. You have to decide what to do. Um, there's a lot of stuff, so it's basically a hostage situation. The Obelisk sucks out the tracking device that had been put into Cora by Ampersand. Um, it, yeah. Um, she ends up, being shoved in a basically a black bag where she's shitting herself and soaked in urine and just really completely degraded. Um, they're guarded by some of this Obelisk's things, but she has a translation thing, and she reveals to them, hey, he's a part of her Obelisk. This is the thing that they found out, is Obelisk is a part of Ampersand's. They're pair bonded, basically. They're bonded together. And it turns out that Joffrey was the other one. They were like in a menage a trois. Maybe they're more, but I'm not quite sure exactly how you put this. It's not like it's more than romantic. It's super bonded. Like they can know where each other is, and indeed we find out later that's probably the reason why Joffrey committed suicide, was to prevent anyone from Obelisk being able to find him. Apparently, Ampersand didn't have the same kind of bond. And you wonder if he didn't have the same kind of bond because he'd been tortured or had been kind of split off from the rest of the group. So there's something unspoken there. There's a lot of things unspoken because Ampersand does not share all the stuff. He's definitely, you do still get the sense that he has some kind of a bond with Cora, but it's kind of like it's paternal. There's this gigantic power differential. It's like Cora's like 20 years old. He's like 900 years old, 600 years old subjective time. It's like, and he's like middle aged. So there's really an age difference as well as the whole alien thing and stuff like that. And just emotional difference. Cora is super vulnerable through all this. In the end, we have kind of the hostage standoff where they EMP blast, Ampersand EMP blasts everybody with him there and gets Cora to drag them all thing. Now there's a sequence in here where she actually thinks she can hear the voice in his voice in her head, but she says, "Oh, I must be imagining that." That comes back later. That's the kind of the kicker at the end here that gives me this real Twilight vibe. She's able to drag everyone on, but she can't get Ampersand on. She realizes, wait a minute, he was terrified that I could kill him in this thing site, so I can kill Obelisk. So she does her darndest to kill Obelisk, and she gets this kind of weird thing in her head where it's like, oh, I know exactly how to kill him. I've got like a schematic of him in my head of where I could just kill him. And she attempts to do this, but Ampersand prevents her telekinetically, shoots her away from him because you can't kill him. I can't allow you to kill him. And he stabs her. Ampersand stabs her. Not Ampersand. Obelisk stabs her really badly, like like almost going to die, kind of thing. But they kind of wrestle him off. They get away. Ampersand heals her. This genetic creature that is thing. Unfortunately, it pierced its own protective thing, and apparently nitrogen is basically deadly to them. The nitrogen in the air, so it's dying. It does die. Obelisk shows up. Obelisk is like, well, I can't kill you, my beloved, because that's their kind of relationship, Obelisk and Ampersand. Unfortunately, its colleagues show up and says like, okay, we want to watch you kill Ampersand and Cora. Well, you have to do it in front of us because we've heard things. At which point they all the Obelisk and that they all lunge at each other. The Ampersand and Cora manage to get away, and Obelisk is killed. They do decide to leave. Ampersand is like, don't. It kind of is cradling the body of Obelisk. Finally, that's over with. Cora loses consciousness, wakes up 2 weeks later in the hospital, having been carefully patched back together. And they're like, you were gone for 2 weeks. He's like, yeah, it probably took him that long to repair me. And then the final scene is her waking up and realizing that he's in the room. He decloaks and gets on the bed with her. And it's like, there's only one way that I was going to be able to track you, and that was to bond with you. So they now have this bond, and she's like, you can't leave me. I'm bonded with you. It's got a whole kind of weird Twilight thing to it. And it's just like, how, you're really completely at this creature's mercy. There's a weird thing. And the thing about Obelisk was saying at the very end, it's like, I have to remove you from this planet because you would, in a couple of generations of these people's thing, become the most powerful creature on Earth. You would bend them to your will. You would shape them. You would shape them your way. It's like, it's and you can see it's like, oh, he is not incorrect. And indeed, Cora, to her own credit, does kind of understand this, but it's just like they are bonded. This is like this is she sounds like Bella talking she sounds like Bella talking to Edward at the end of like, I'm addicted to you, kind of that kind of level of stuff. And it's like, oh boy, this is not going to go well. It's like, this is really creepy. I don't think Ellis is trying to write this as a hot romance, though. It's like, I think it's supposed to be disturbing in a way. And he's staying. He can't go anywhere. He doesn't have anywhere to go. He's sort of burned all his boats. The hierarchy knows, and the hierarchy will now come for them and will come for the planet. So, I guess it's like either he takes over and raises them up so they can defend themselves and shapes them and whatever, or or the planet will be, get will be sterilized by the um, super being thing, whatever they call the Pequods. Yeah, yeah. So weird, but weird in a good way. I think weird in a good way. I think we'll see with the next novels. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.